I will record this and I'm going to share about this model and also important, we can say. Have you seen this? Yes?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. Thank you. So we can say like so far in the ministry currently, we can say mostly we just focus on training, teacher training, workshop, okay, everywhere, every place. And mostly we just spend a lot of money on that meeting and training as well, we can see. But the problem is that as the training, it seems like no one care about how to follow up, okay, whether what is being trained has been applied or not in here. All right, so that's why it seems like it is useless, waste time, waste money. Since training normally we just spend on refreshment or even food accommodation for the participant from other provinces. Yeah, as well as the money to somehow we also spend it on the trainer fee. Spend a lot of money there. But if we look at this model, like learning and development model, like 70, 20, and 10 in here, we can say about training, it seems like there are only 10% of that part. You can say structured courses or workshop and e-learning and so on, or even from the book that you have read, like a learning code. If you read a book, you just get on about 10%, right? About 10% from your reading there. So this part, we can say training, we get only 10%. Yeah, very small number here. And you will get 20% from social learning, like build community and social interest group through mentoring and coaching. Yeah, like you just meet a friend or your coach or your mentors regarding to your specialized skill. You just communicate with them, or getting help from them. For example, like you design a project and you don't know, you can communicate, you can ask for help. So those things can help you to gain about 20% more, right? So training is not quite sure that you learn something, because it might be something on the book or on the slide that is quite new to you. So you need to communicate, you need to socialize with other learner, other partner, other specialists. And then through coaching, through mentoring, sharing, okay, talking and so on, you may get about 20% from that part. Yeah, that's why we can say like what Maya said, oh, the more I learn, the more I get nothing. This is the thing that we can say it showed that thing might go through this model as well. You're seeing right now you are on the training, right? Some part. Yeah, you need to build a network or community to learn more about that part. You can say as you go and apply, as you go and teach, okay, you just bring something that you have learned from this master degree and teach and learn and start working. You will start communicate with your classmate, with it might be your lecturers that have taught you something. Maybe you can communicate and ask more with the problem that you face at your workplace, something that you can learn more. Yeah, the most powerful one, we can say experiential, like through working with new and challenging experience in here. Yeah, we can say no matter how long or how many years that you has been trained on a particular job, you will never enough for the job. You got what I mean? So should not stay on training or on learning too long, but just start doing it, right? So bring what you got it from, what you learned from school, what you learned from the book, and then start applying it. This is the thing that you can learn from those things. So totally you can get 100% of your knowledge based on this process. Read the book, get training, communicating, asking through coaching and mentoring, and then start to apply it. This is the thing that you can learn. Yeah, so for example, like I think everyone just experienced with the struggling with speaking English when you start learning. And you may see some of your classmates, your friends, okay, who may not be able to speak in English since what? They commit or they just learn that they are not yet good at English grammar, not yet good at vocabulary. Yeah, they keep waiting until they know everything about grammar and then they start speaking. Have you ever experienced or met some other people like that? Yes? Yes or no? Maybe yes, maybe no.
Can be yes, teacher.
Yeah. But mostly we can say, yeah, they never perfect, never good at everything in English unless they apply it into their speaking. Because of what? The more you learn, the more you may forget the thing. Yeah, we can say a lot of things. Whenever you just keep learning and without practicing, it's just easily forgetting. It's just easy to forget what you have learned from the beginning. You need to go back and forth sometime. And if we're talking about English grammar, it's just like a spider map. You learn about noun or noun clause or noun phrase. You may link to the other clause or other phrases that really interrelated with other lesson in here. Yeah, so apply to speak or apply in writing. It might be help you remember more, right? You should not sitting and try to memorize all of the grammatical structure or rule, or try to remember the vocab from the dictionary. Yeah, just apply it. It's better than sitting and try to memorize, right? This is something we can say like about this model that just currently we can say for NGS context, we just move to this model, right? So we not focus on training much, but we focus on, yeah, about on the job learning or on the job training in here. Yeah, whatever you know, apply it. And then follow-up training, other thing will be applied, will be used to have, and yes, through coaching and mentoring in here, for example, right? Yeah, that's why at my center currently we just train and develop mentors to support teacher at NGS in here, right? Yeah, that is the thing that one reason that you need to learn. So to me, I don't think the whole period of 2 years that you are going to train here will be, you will become the specialized or specialist in your major as MA or MAB in TESOL and so on in here. But the thing you need to practice, because you will see your outcome after you start the job that related to this training, the degree, maybe 1 or 2 years later. after you graduated here. All right. So yeah, I hope that after you graduated, you will try to find a job that really related to your master degree here. Yeah. And I hope that you know the possibility that you can become master as one whenever you handle master degree. What are your power? It could be, right? That's it about this part. And we are keep waiting, and I just want to share something about this. Yeah. Any question before we move to our lesson? Yes, no.
How lecturer, how we don't
Yes.
have experience, how we can work?
Okay. About experience.
Lecturer, you hear my question about someone like me. We don't have experience like for a teaching, and then when we go to the field, and then so we are afraid with the job. how can we get the suitable job, lecturer?
Yeah, a really good question, Venerable. Especially about the lion manhood, like you, whenever you live from the manhood, it seems like you're just shifting to the new world, they can say, right? So
Yeah.
a bit hard, and I know a lot of monks. Yeah, monks as they live from the manhood. Since yeah, most of them are my classmates as well. So somehow they really scared and afraid of this one. Some just cannot find a job as a graduate. Some they are really genius, really really good at communication. They start building a network. They start volunteer somehow that through volunteer since they were in the manhood in here. So when they just prepare themselves to be ready for the social work, yeah, and after they finish their manhood, yeah, they can start working immediately. It's easy, right? Easily for them. Yeah, like currently one of my former classmates, he used to be a monk for long, and currently he really genius, and he worked for NGS for long time ago. I just got their letter. So those things that we can say, just starting from where you are, no matter, don't think that okay, because it's like the skill can be built based on your ability and your vision as well. If you want to climb up the tree to or climb up the mountain, a high mountain, maybe you need to train yourself to climb up with the lower mountain first. Start from step to step. The step up or start up in here, we can say like normally the job may not pay you much in here, since your capacity, your experience is not strong enough. So yeah, maybe you can earn somewhere that you can survive. You can start 6 months, start small, you can say. Yeah. So
Yeah, lecturer.
yeah, if you want to be a leader in education, like a school principal, dean, and so on, maybe you better start with a normal or formal teacher. Yeah, maybe you can start with with currently for private school. I think the rank of the salary, it might be starting from about 250, 280, yeah, up to somewhere there. But being a teacher, you may not earn more than 500 US a line here. Yeah, except you are specialized for any teacher, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
those,
lecturer, yeah.
yeah, we can say like it's just something that you can start. We can say that is the starting point. If you think about experience and if you have a clear career path, you can plan. You can plan like I may start with okay, I will start teaching with some level in English. in any school about 1 or 2 years to get experience. And then after 1 or 2 years, I will move to the next level to be like it can be like a coordinator or head teacher, for example, right? So what are the skills you need to do? So when you start working as a teacher, a normal teacher in here, you need to work hard, work smart, and yeah, we can say like try all of your best to reach your potential in here. And then we can say like those things will pay you off after some period of time. Yeah, your supervisor may be noticed. Okay, you can be qualified to be someone else, not just a teacher. Yeah. So you may upgrade yourself based on that part. And along the way, while you are working there, I strongly believe as a teacher is the luckiest career and opportunity as well. Since a teacher, we can say being a teacher, you are also a learner, all right? Since the best teacher, they may start with the best learner first. Without learning, you cannot go and teach, all right? So this is the good thing that the teacher has a chance to develop. But we can say, you may ask why all of the teacher did not have upgrading or upgraded their knowledge so far. It just depend on their commitment, depend on their mindset, whether they just come up with the fake mindset or the growth mindset. I think that you may have experienced or observed some other teacher, okay, since they has long time experience in teaching in some subject. Yeah, he may go to school and teach the student even without the textbook with him, because he remember about the content or the thing with the lesson. Sometimes he just speak it out loudly and the student can record, follow after him. Have you ever experienced with that with your teacher at high school or primary or even secondary school? Yes or no?
Yeah, lecturer, I have.
Yeah. So we can say like those things, he or she is great, but the problem is that he or she still learn only in that part, no expanding his or her knowledge to the other field. All right. Yeah, that's why we can say those memorizing technique, it does not work for the teacher, for the student. That we can say like we do need to search and search more. And some part currently they prefer to go and apply like project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, or problem-based learning, and so on, to explore something new. We can say assign a project to the student to work. The teacher also need to work, need to surfing and searching something related to that subject matter or topic there, that can broaden the knowledge. Both the student and teacher are learning at the same time. All right, the thing. So we can say if follow that, I strongly believe 1 or 2 years later, the teacher will has a very broad knowledge on that part. Somehow not just only on the subject matter that he or she is teaching, but it might be expand to the other area, we can say, right? So this is the thing that we can say, starting from where you are and have a clear career path. Whenever we talk about career path, maybe it's new to you, but it's really good. Since career path, we can say you may have your own preparation. What do you want to be next 5 years? And then start planning from where you are. We can say success is not from begging or even keep praying to the God, but it might be something from your own preparation. Is it true, another one?
Yeah, so lecturer, yeah, so.
Yeah. Even Buddha himself, Buddha also believe in preparation. We can say success. It just comes from
Yeah.
preparation. It's not from luck. From like okay, like you just keep waiting for the lucky that by chance and so on. But it just comes from what you plan, what you prepare. Yeah, if you plan to be a great teacher in the future, yeah, you can plan from now. Reading, learning, surfing and searching, okay, or even conduct a research. Research really important for a teacher, right? So yeah, from now, for next 5 years, you can become a good, or we can say like even excellent teacher. To be a good teacher is just easy, but to be excellent or great teacher, it's just a bit harder. You need to work hard, sacrifice, yeah, more and more. So those things. Okay. You need to expand yourself by living from your comfort zone. Try something new.
Yeah, thank you, lecturer. Thank you, lecturer. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You can see from here, like experience here, they just use one. I really like this one. You can say, just to gain experience, you can say, you can see from this one by one. You're working with new and challenging experience. You got it? So you need to challenge. Not mean just one textbook. Okay, I teach that textbook for 5 years, for example, and every year I taught that subject to 5 different classes. So again and again, I remember everything in the textbook. So I don't depend on the textbook anymore. No, it will not become a great thing there. Yeah, you need to work with new experience or challenge it here. Yeah, some part you can say some teacher or some lecturer, they do not even dare to teach the new subject. Yeah. Why? Because they are too lazy to prepare the lesson. They may not have enough time to search or surfing for teaching here. Yeah, and as a result, we can say they really limited. They are really limited themselves. Yeah, they limit themselves to somewhere there. They do not expand it to be better there. All right. We can say like I would like to share my experience as well when I start teaching at the higher education at the first time. We can say I start with English literature study. That is my full-time job at one center. At the time, I just the center that funded by Hong Kong alien, yeah, through a Christian organization. We can say I have a chance to touch there, to teach there just about 2 different subjects, but mostly focus on literature study with other core English just 1 class of that part. So yeah, mostly I just experience and learn a lot about English literature study. But later on, when I just move out from that part to go and teach outside, they just give me 1 subject. At the time, just the time that I know that I just start knowing Mr. Philip at the first time, that he give me 1 subject just about applied linguistics. I think that you just experience a lot about applied linguistics, which is the hardest subject ever. Most of the lecturers, they do not want to teach applied linguistics in here. You know why? Because in applied linguistics, it will include every subject that you have been studied so far in year 4. It related to research. It also include teaching methodology, like advanced teaching methodology. It also include with the we can say like linguistic itself. Yeah, in Khmer we call like Pisa Vachia, right? Yeah, that we study about the root cause of the language, including with the grammar, but advanced grammar. Yeah, something that you need to learn a lot about, apply about linguistic in here. It also related with foundational education, psychology, right? Like psychology there. Also, yeah, we have research, we have foundation education, teaching methodology, also interpreting and translation also included with that part, we can say. So really complicated subject to teach. Okay, when I met him at the time, I did not have any experience to teach with the subject at all, you can say. But I just say a simple phrase to him, let me try. Okay, so after I accept to get the course to prepare and teach, I need to work very hard there. Read the book, surfing and searching for information about the lesson. Yeah, we can say at the same time, we can say through that course preparation, I learned a lot. And that is the part that can lead me to teach other subjects. We can say when I start with the hardest one, the rest it really easy, really better for me to prepare. Since I just struggle, I try to fight for the hardest one already. So the part that just fight much better there, we can say much better for me to do that part. And every year, I normally accept to teach different subject. As a result, we can say from year 1 to we can say like maybe start from year 2. Since year 1 normally they just keep it for foundation foundation year. So from year 2 to year 4, I can teach every subject there. Yeah, no matter it is English literature study, core English, cultural study, I can teach all. Yeah, but some people they can say, oh, whenever you just teach all, maybe it's not good. Yeah, but at least we just experience there. So that's why I like the word new and challenges in here. Yeah, make us strong. We can say somehow that we can do there. Okay, so it's short one that I share to everyone in here. And for the latecomer, you can see this model through the video, and actually I will drop it into the video. And then you can see it. So how important 70, 20, and 10 model. So this one will have to change the education in Cambodia. We can say we are not going to depend on training most of the time, but we are going to start by cooperating, working, and start learning through the practice or on the job learning there, you can say. All right. Any other question before we move to the lesson? It's quiet here. Whether you got it from me clearly or clean. Okay, so any question?
No question, sir.
No question, no answer. Okay, so we just move to our lesson. Yes, while waiting, and just linking to Maya answer. Okay. Yeah.
Maya sleep, teacher. Maya sleep.
Maya is sleeping now. Okay, so hope everyone just fine and you just come in here.
Sleep or slept?
Hello, brother. I'm sleeping. I listen to you.
Maya may say, okay,
Teacher,
I'm not. Yeah?
I'm like a lot of knowledge. So I had to study more.
Yeah, somehow we can say somehow there. If you know you are lack of that part, just list down. List down. To me, we can say normally I just try something new by listing down, and I will let list most part of my weak point there, or the point that I think that I'm lacking of. Okay, and then to put it in one other content in my training, in my course. Sometimes for my short course, if I prepare the short course for something, I normally come up with the content that I want to learn as well, or I want to build up. You can, I can say, right? Let me share my announcement that I prepare maybe since 2016. Philip just recently dropped it to the group in here. So in other university, we can say like, yeah, most of the thing there, I just come up with the content that I just arrange to the part that I don't know. Somehow we can say, oh, I just know some, but not really specific. But not mean we can say, oh, if you arrange the course like that, mean you are cheating the participant, or you just try to learn yourself, but you take the participant to be the experiment tool. No, we can say, I just have some, and I need to work harder for that part. I need to prepare the document. I need to experiment some part, and then we can apply for that thing. So starting from where you are, should not wait until perfect. If you keep waiting, you will not be able to be better or gain some more new knowledge in here. Yeah, don't just go through what you just specialize. Yeah, but somehow you can take risk as well. So risk taking is just one thing. Okay, so I talk a lot. I'm sorry for this. Yeah, while waiting, and then everyone just come. Okay, so
Teacher.
yeah, pardon.
Yeah, teacher, I want you to talk a lot. I like to listen your speech.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Let's talk, teacher. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, teacher.
Thank you. Talk a lot, but our lesson still the same. We cannot finish. But it's fine. We can say like something that we can learn. We can prepare yourself. So career path is the best one. So start from now, asking yourself, what do you want to be? Just start working with what you love. Yeah. At the same time, you will be able to learn, even though it's hard. You will keep fighting for that. But if you don't like, maybe you may quit it, or whenever the struggle or the problem come, you will say goodbye. You will try to escape from it. Okay, so far, last week, what we have discussed so far? Have you find something about method and approach? That is your homework last week, right? Are you surfing or searching for that? Last time I promised to send you some textbook, right? But I'm sorry for promising and then broke that promise.
That's fine, teacher.
Yeah.
We still can wait for you.
It's fine. I will find it and drop it today. Yeah, from Cape that they have written the book there. Okay, so far, like I said last week, we can say like no matter it is approach or it is a method, but make sure it can teach a student to be more effective. Yeah, like what Charpia mentioned, we can say it's still much better if we can identify and we can categorize between what is called method, what is called approach, right? It seems like opposite between English and we can say like English and American English and British English there. Somehow they may call it differently. Even syllabus and curriculum. If you follow British English, you will see curriculum. It's just something really big scope of syllabus. Syllabus will be like something detailed to describe about the specific course. Yeah, a curriculum just only the comprehensive list that lists down all the subject title there. Yeah, and then we check how the syllabus will describe everything there in detail. And outline will be included in the syllabus there, like we had discussed in the first week, right? Yeah, and those things that might be somewhere, and normally they call it like teaching approach, like for example, like student center or teacher center approach, right? Those things are clearly that they call it. Yeah, but for currently they just have something that they just start discussing as well regarding to the PBL and IBL, like project-based learning and inquiry-based learning, whether it's a teaching method or teaching approach. Yeah. Some country right now, some textbook right now, avoiding from those conflict, they just start changing, not using a teaching method or teaching approach, but they just use it like teaching strategy. Okay, they just try to avoid. Yeah, so somehow we can say, but the scope is that we can say, yeah, like last time that we have studied so far. Yes, when we're talking about approach, we talk about a group of theory together. Yeah, but when we talk about a method, we talk about one specific theory, and we cannot be flexible there. While approach can be flexible, since it's included with the broad now theory, right? Some part. Yeah, like a CLT, we can say like when you talk about CLT, somehow they identify it as the method, not approach. Yeah, but when you talk about communicative teaching or communicative approach, we can say like those parts we still we consider it as approach. Because of what? It just combine a lot of way, a lot of a method that can use it to promote the student learning communication by learning through communication. Yeah, we can say like it can be included with Oyo-lingual method. It can be included with CLT itself. Yeah, that promote the student talking, promote the student communication. That's the part. All right. So those things that they divide, you can say when we talk about our approach, it's just something broader than method there. In short one that we can say. All right. No worry, we can say like your interview assignment, I suppose to let everyone to work on all of the teaching method that is discussing and talking so far. All right. And yeah, we still have your group project work there. We can say like you will have a project work to work in group and to work in individual. Yeah, like what we have discussed so far. We are not going to have midterm or even final examination, except the exit exam in case, right?
Yeah, lecturer. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So no worry, we still have time to talk, and we will learn more, right? Yeah. Okay, so today we are going to move to the second lesson, but I'm not sure whether you have read something about your textbook there. Whether you got a textbook now?
Yeah, teacher, I just got from the print soft, teacher, print soft
You print it out,
for
right?
today. Yeah, print it out, teacher.
Okay, yeah, it's fine. You can print it out or even read it from the soft, it's fine. Yeah, if you print, you may spend more money and need space to store it. To me, last time I can say, like before, I think, okay, printing out much better for me to read. But currently when I print it out, yes, some letter is just a bit small, I cannot read it as well. When I read it in the source, I can zoom in, zoom out, I can read it easily. It's better than reading through the hard copy in here. But it depends. We can say, don't follow me, just follow yourself. Which one is just better for you, right? Okay, so today we are going to move to chapter 2. I'm going to work for you, but sooner and later, I'm not going to talk a lot, but everyone will talk and work a lot, we can say, right? So this morning and afternoon, I will keep working for you, but we still keep go through discussion. Yeah, go through the way that we can discuss, we can involve, yeah, we can learn more. Since the thing in this textbook, it might be somewhere else in the world, not in Cambodian context in here. Through your experience, through what you have learned so far from your career as a teacher or educator in here, yeah, we can elaborate and contextualize it. You got what I mean? Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, that's why we need to discuss more. We can say discuss more. I have a slide, I have prepared a slide, but I'm not going to go straight away from slide number 1 to 20 and finish and go home, right? Okay, you are lucky. Okay, so we will discuss, we will work more, discuss more. Okay, in the case. So in here we are going to discuss about theory of teaching in language teaching in here. What is theory? Yeah. Theory, what does it mean, theory? What does it mean, theory?
Principle or something.
Yeah, in Khmer, we call to stay. Yeah, in English. Yeah, it can be principle. It can be thing that they have applied it successfully, and then they just come up with the theory in here. Theory, where do they get the theory? Yeah.
Cái bị sao kê tự việc nó cào sao lên mấy là cái bị sao kê hay cái tròn con kia lúc muốn.
Yeah.
From analysis, yeah.
From
Analyze,
yeah, from analyze. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then they create a
From
series.
experiment.
Yeah. So mostly we can say like they just come from research. Yeah, like research. So research important, really important in here.
From experience, lecturer.
Yeah, it can be from experience. Yeah, experience there we can say like experiment as well. Like a teacher, we can say teacher somehow whenever they apply something new to the class, it's something like they have experience. So experience just come from experiment there. All right. Yeah. So yeah, whenever they have applied something new and effective, and they can write down some principle about that part, and then that part will become the theory or model of that person. All right, you also can do that. We can say currently we just learn a lot from researcher and scholar, famous scholar in the world. Why not trying to find and do something that really contextualize in Cambodian context in here? Yeah, you also can do that. You may come up with a new teaching method that really effective for Cambodian context. Yeah, you may come up with okay, maybe Patnat method, Chandon method. Can you do that? Yeah. And not just follow, we can say somehow you can try something new and you can write down that model. Yeah. You can be a teaching method or teaching approach developer as well. You are not the follower all the time, right? Like my experience, we can say, yeah, like what I share at the moment. When I started teaching at higher education at the first time for bachelor degree, I just struggle with the teaching reading, like mostly I teach English literature study about story, right? Reading the story there. The problem is that the student don't like reading. Yeah. So sometimes I try to assign them, like I meet them today, I assign chapter or page for them to read. But when the deadline comes, no one read the chapter, read the page. So we can say like it's really hard. I keep thinking, so what should I do there? Yeah, later on I come up with the idea, okay, I may not assign them to read from home, but I just assign, you can say like, just ask everyone, okay, today, as a class, you can read chapter 2 for the next class meeting. Okay, I just call them to read, okay. But that part I do not assign them with the specific task to do. Since what? We can say somehow, when we assign them in advance, no one read, or even some member may absent. And then the plan might be failed because of what? Whenever some member absent, it seems like the group is just not enough for the task. So I change from what? Change from assigning them to read on the specific task to be assigned for next session by assigning them at the beginning of the session, give them some time to read in a class, and give them time to do presentation or even have a speech. Sometimes I use like one thing they call like speak combination. Have you ever heard this one? Speak combination? Yeah.
Combination, competition, yeah?
Combination. You can see in the chart. Have you ever seen speak combination? Huh?
Never heard each other. No, only speak competition, now speak combination.
Yeah, speak combination, right?
From
It is
combine,
like
teacher. From combine.
combination, right? Travel agent is something like that. Yeah?
Speak combination, I just use it for reading. You got what I mean? We can say whenever the student they check how no experience and no enough experience for reading, or we can say like for the long pages it might be hard for them to read and summarize the story. For example, that story in English just about 10 pages of that part. If you just assign them to read and summarize the whole story, the whole chapter, it might be hard for them there. So to me, I just come up with that by writing some procedure as well. Maybe you can see it from some video from my YouTube. You can say my YouTube is just like because I'm not professional video at all, but that YouTube just use it for sharing some teaching methods. Okay, I record the lesson from the class, and I normally in the description somehow I write down the procedure inside there. Yeah, let me go and find it there, and you will see what does it mean about speak combination there. It new, you cannot find from somewhere, but the thing that I just try to create and call it for my class, it might be effective for my class. That's called, we call it like speak combination. The student need to a working group, 5 or 4. They may share some part to be responsible to read, and as a result, we can say after they got the time to read, and then they just have a group presentation or a speak combination to summarize the story in here. You got what I mean? By linking from part to part. For example, like they have 5 members and the story should have 10 pages there. So they may divide it 2 pages for each member. They start reading, they start combine their speech in advance before they should go to the whiteboard and do presentation. They can start doing with that one. Yeah, so we can say like to do like that, it really motivates them to read and speak it out. Yeah, since the burden seems like lighter, not really heavy for them to remember about 10 pages of the story, but they just spend about 10 or 20 minutes to read and try to take out only the main point to do with that one. So this one we call like a speak combination. Okay, I will find that part to drop. Maybe I also prepare a slide to do presentation in Camp So last time, I think. Maybe last year, not last year, maybe a few years ago, maybe. It just combined with 3 effective teaching methods for teaching reading. Yeah, it is something there. So those things we can say like, I should see the name. Oh, I have never heard about speak combination. The thing that you can call it. What does it mean? And then tell your student that is speak combination. Whenever the technique just comes later, it will be known by your student, and they start acting and learning immediately, or even speaking out. So we can say like try to integrate between reading and speaking at the same time. That is we call like a speak combination, the way that you can create. So rather than follow the teaching technique or teaching method or other, somehow the teacher, you can try to do experiment there. That's what we call also experiment. All right, apply something new, yeah, that really fit to the need of your student, fit with the competency or capacity of your student, and then that teaching really effective for your part. All right, you got what I mean?
Yeah, teacher. Yeah, I understand now.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, I will share with you with that technique. The other one I just call it like main point exhibition. Yeah, it's the other way, similar to jigsaw, but they need to talk around. It's similar to gallery walk as well, but they need the speaker or presenter to explain the main point from their story. Yeah, those things that we can call. Yeah. Okay, so this thing that you are not going to be the follower, but the one who just can design, the one who can create the thing. Okay, so let me move series. So series from research, from experimental research. So this part we can say research is not important just only for science, but also social science. Yeah, like even teaching, even yeah, in the field of business and so on, they also need to conduct research. Yeah. That's why research is one of the requirement to be graduate. Yeah. Okay, so in here we are going to discuss more regarding to this part. We can say series of teaching. Yes, science research conception. Yeah, you see the word research in here. Series philosophy conception and art craft conception. And one line just about Q&A. How many people have read your chapter 2? Can you raise up your hands through Zoom reaction? Yeah. Have you taught the chapter? Yes or no? Can you show me your reaction? Yeah. Yes or no?
Not yet. Not yet. See of the book. Yeah.
You did not see the book, or whether you got the soft copy now or not yet?
We got now. But not reading yet.
Okay, so when? So when? When will you read it?
For the chapter 3, teacher, when you allow us to do us by ourselves. Start from chapter 3.
Chapter 3 we will discuss the afternoon, right?
Oh, thank you. So for chapter 4.
Okay, chapter 4, right? Okay, I hope chapter 4 you will start working on it, right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. At the afternoon we will discuss about lesson planning, right? Okay, so this morning one session, not one session, like one morning, just one lesson, one chapter just enough. Okay, so we will go to chapter, our content here. So series of teaching by Sehoric 1986. You will see some history of teaching here. We can say about the author or the researcher, we can say like he just come up with 3 different concepts here. Like the first one about science research concept. And the second one about series philosophy conception. And art craft conception in here. Have you ever read or even learned about this thing before?
Research philosophy នឹងហើយបដមួយទៀតថ្មីអាតក្រៅនោះអត់ដែរតបលើ
Okay, it new, right?
Yes.
ថ្មីចាស់មកគ្រូពាក្យហ្នឹងមិនដែរឮទេ
Good. So now you just try something new, right? So good job. Yeah, as they got something new, don't forget to apply it, right? Yeah. So yeah, from the learning model, we can see like a model of 70-20. Yeah, you need to apply it to gain experience there. Yeah, you need to learn something new. Okay, and then try to challenge it. Okay, so let's just go. We can say you can see the detail in next slide. For example, like so when we talk about science research concepts, it's just related to some teaching method in here. All right, like lingualism that we have discussed last time. So what is Lingualism? Yeah. What is it about?
Sometimes we talk about we use the tool like audio, video, or some that like listening skill like that is the usual tool for teaching.
Okay, we can say like learning from listening, yeah, from hearing, sometimes from ear, we can say. Okay, so those things we can say like somehow we can call it like army teaching method. About the history of Lingualism or lingual teaching method here. You just call it like army teaching method. Yeah, like what we have discussed so far, right? Because we can say the method, it happened during World War #1 and #2, right? That in the jungle or in the battle, the army keep learning by listening. No anything to record or no whiteboard and so on. So they keep learning by listening. Yeah. And yeah, that's why some people in Cambodia as well, they may learn Thai by watching Thai movie, for example. Or because some people in Siem Reap, I think most of them may not be able to read and write in English, but they can speak English by what they heard, what they try to communicate with the foreigners who come there, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can speak one or two more language from listening from the foreign.
Yeah, sure. So they heard and then they start to drill. I hope that you remember about drill, right? It's really popular when you study in the past. Your teacher normally write down and ask you to repeat after him, right? Okay, everyone, listen and repeat after me.
Repetition here.
Yeah, repetition or drill, because it's drill, right?
Yep, drill.
Yeah. Okay, so the other one, we also talked about task-based language teaching. Have you ever applied this one in your class? Task-based language teaching? Yes or no? Hello?
No.
No. Okay, we will discuss more about this one. And learner training. Have you heard about this one, learner training? Training the learner or what? Okay, I will go through. Yeah, come on, okay. Just
đấy là cũng cho người ta learner training về training or the trainer này mấy này
Just wait and see. Just wait and see, we can see. Yeah, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Smay? Chappy can see in the next slide, you will see about learner training, right? Okay. What is it about? Mr. Smay, you want to say something in a moment or nothing? No, okay, thank you. So you also can see about your science research conception in here. You also can see about pre-test treatment. Yeah, we can say like treatment, experiment, or empirical investigation. So empirical, like practical, right? Yeah, like you just apply something, and then you keep observation, observe how effective it is. When you find out something effective, you may write down it to be a procedure or principle of that part. Later on, it just come into consideration to be model, to be series for other to follow, right? And then you have post-test. We have pre-test and post-test. Yeah, mostly they just use it for assessing the learning outcome or learning performance as well for education. So pre-test post-test is the series of performance somehow in research, right? They just use pre-test post-test there. Okay, I will go through it in detail in the next slide. You can see this one about the characteristic of Lingualism. You can see one. Like the first one, it derived from research on learning associated with behavioral psychology, a process of habit formation, like a language were presented for memorization and learning through drill. You got it? Yeah. So yeah, you should remember how do not have any textbook to take note, okay, or even translate it to your mother tongue language in here, right? But just try to remember it. Heard, drill, heard, repeat, and then start applying it. This is the thing. So drill, you see, drills, it just mean repeat or follow, right? Repeat after me. There's just something about that part. And a stimulus or treatment cell to elicit behavior and respond. Yeah. Like we can say to check whether your student can learn or not, the teacher sometimes just elicit rather than telling, but might be asking, might be checking or testing, wait to see their response to that part. Yeah, it can be true false statement. It can be question whether they can remember or they can answer are not in here. That is we call like stimuli or treatment for that part. Reinforcement. We can say like to reinforce with that part. We can say like it serves to mark the response as being appropriate or inappropriate and incorrect to repetition or suppression. The response in the future. Yeah. So we can say reinforce. We try to make or push something to be more productive or effective. All right. So somehow we can say moreover they keep talking or showing or drill to more and more, but maybe the role of the teacher may keep back forward to something from the beginning. Yeah, to check whether they have used it well, whether they have practiced it well, pronounced it well, or something that they need to review or revise it later on, for example, right? So this is the reinforcement. Yeah, the word reinforcement really great. We can say, yeah, to follow up, to push something to be better. They may have some part for reinforcement, treatment, and so on. Yeah, to make it more effective. Some part there. Any questions so far from this part? It's not something new. Since Lingualism, they talk a lot so far, but it may not be applied in most of the class. Yeah, like we have discussed last time, we can say, oh, listening is just hard. Maybe we are the king in the class. Maybe we can skip the listening part. Yeah, it's fine, I agree. But somehow we can say, the more you skip, the more the students struggle in their real life, right? Okay, since they need to practice their listening, the purpose here we can see like we cannot know how to speak without know how to listen the language in here, all right? So yeah, it's hard, but to me, I motivate you to start from the basic step to build up them, to be strong with audio or about listening in here. All right, like what we have discussed so far. Okay, maybe from the beginning or even last week as well. We can teach the student how to be qualified in listening by let them learning repeatedly. Maybe a week's time, just listen to one audio. Okay, before let them listen freely, maybe you can start with ask them to read the script, read the transcript, and listen at the same time. Repeatedly ask them to close the transcript and let them list only the blank audio, whether they can understand or not there. And ask them to keep repeating, listening that one just about a week's time before letting them to move to the new audio there. They don't try to let them, oh, okay, listen. You can listen the full CD. If the book has 3 CD, just listen all. It's useless there, right? Okay, so everything is just fine, but you can think about why the student come to your class and what are their purpose. Yeah, their purpose is just what? About communication, about communicating with other, communicating with foreigner, native speaker, we can say. That's why they come to study in English in here. Yeah, so in short, we can say like all other 4 micro skills are really important for them, right? If they learn how to speak and they cannot listen, the speaking may be trouble. Yeah, they're we can say like their English may not be able to use right in their job in here. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they know how to write and don't know how to read, it's also the problem. Like your research, somehow we can say about your research report that we are planning for cohort 5 to do and cohort 6 to do in here. You are going to write from reading. All right, really interrelated there. Or sometimes they can say the one who is good at reading, normally the one who is good at writing as well. Is it true? Because they know how to write, that's why they know how to read. Since they may know how the author, how some beyond meaning, they may come up with experience that they can keep thinking about those things. All right, the thing that really happened. Okay.
Ba của bạn là ngày về bên trên tấu vì là của em lực em phải tránh bao sinh được trong với nhau tập lực lưu nạp lưu lần thực chất ở qua ở thơ mấy nó không khả năng bao sinh chỉ ai đang trong người tha cao tôi có dùng follow tại quan cho buồn listening section ở ban trên nữa thì cuối chừng đào còn đào bên đấy về bên trên tấu nó cứ bắt tam vào sọt bọc trong nó cứ trong việc sạc nhưng để thấy là dân hiện nhận sang lời chân ca sớm mai ca nhóm không phần yên là cái mới này về smart phone không là cái mới thế về smart phone phải lòng thiệt nó chắn cái gì là cái mới nó tất đó về từ chụp nó không phải để bọn phơ càng nghe với những đọc cho môi năng listening bỏ tế đọc sau bán này vậy bên đây này đứng ở đây này tạo sau bán hay đang được về mình thì cuối dân cao nâu đến nhưng có tới là cái mới khoang phải lòng thiệt nó đọc về cho không phải để bọn càng nghe đọc tông từ xa bỏ tây vạt bản đọc về đọc mát đang về vậy trình kêu vậy chứ ạ bà chẳng người tự bay thao listening nó tập thôn nó về ơi và bạn ở đây đừng cóอย่างnào cái đấy kia dêm là tiếp tục ta chạm listening phone sớm nó cònอย่างhỏi nó có đọc tông từ xa ông lấy đang phạt lại đây bảo sỏi nó từ chắc ba hay về sân khăn vô tiết của sân chợt quạt trong tập lòng ai ấy là listening và cháy cho vào đó chắc chắn cho mình tên và chẳng listening cứ dịp này mới sân khăn nó nông ca tới chui ở con sơ nó nông ca thằng đại cô ta một quạt bàn cho đó nữa nó không bị sai ca nghe ban o hay ở nó không ca và lo hay được có vẹn toàn người ấy rồi cặp đến có bị trái na năng tôi với được trong chợ đáy cá hiến không bằng là vì chỉ có cá ong lấy đặc biệt đọc mặt đấy ban cảm với mặt nó cắt vô lấy gì mà toán đọc tôi trong khói bia và hai đó bây giờ you can trả lại thà lần đó đáp tới ta ra thôi đầu đó cho và nó mến mà đây tha áp hai tí mình sẵn khán để bật cả trong vì tha và tam ca pha chia có các bạn đang vì bóng ở một trường nguồn nó tự trái này speaking không ai đến đi sau ban cao tha rồi ở xa lắm cầm sau ban trường khác mình cho cái xa cái gì chứ đấy bác lại vừa càng nghe trong với nhà bé bọt tên gì mà vô thơ tịnh linh long suốt nghe từ bên màu bà chẳng lần từng chất ơi là cô nè cô phải đi sân nó chơi chả bàn xa đi đâu quạt con sơ nó quạt adapt cho mình foreigner speaking ban ở con là của bạn tận
Okay, thank you, Chappy, for this. Okay, Chappy, how about your speaking now? Is it better or is still something?
speaking anh lấy nó cứ trong việc bị chọc một cái phi giang hướng tìm mũi tiệp hiện quan cho mũi là cái tầm tiền một chấm nữa vì chúng cháu như thế hiện đặt chung khá nhiều anh lấy chân chết bò tệ nó từ thang tập cho bạn với những bạn để xoay listening chân chết đang vào viết cái gì anh lấy viết thôi vô việc xa trong gì với như vậy chọn việc sao anh lấy đó với những gì là thế là hay trong auto practice lúc trong ca speaking anh lấy bài rồi chơi có thể bảo không ca C nó không cái mưa ấy cứ trong việc ban bật lấy cá nó việc cuồng tịnh dùng sọp xạ lòng sinh tới được lòng hai được coi thấy trong ban của lòng sọp thì chẳng thấy cái đó ta ra chính đi bị tràn hàng xế từ những ai chọp ở đây là bàn speaking không phải ban.
Okay, thank you. If you can try more, speak more, yeah, like in your class, yeah, you can try to speak in English more and more. It's fine. And we can say like, don't be upset whether your action is just Khmer action, Vietnamese action, but make sure they can understand what you are talking about. This is the purpose of communication. All right. It not mean, oh, okay, you're speaking and look like or similar to American English or British English. No, to me, I don't care. We can say like, I never try to turn my voice or change my action to follow any native speaker in here. But my purpose of speaking, I just want to send my message. Make sure it can be understood by my partner or my conversation partner. It's just enough for that. You got what I mean? Yeah. If you learn that, okay, maybe your speaking is just a bit not really clear. You should try to change it by speak slowly, change it and so on again, but keep speaking in English. It's not so we can say like you still the same thing there. All right. So starting from where you are, speak slowly. If you learn that, okay, when I speak, they cannot get my point, asking why? What should I improve with that? What can I do? To me, I learned one thing that is still included in my speaking. A lot of okay included in my okays. Okay, in my speaking here. But we can say I keep checking it over time. Okay. It can be changed or not, but it's still in the process that we can be aware. Yeah. The best thing that we can do there, make sure they can understand what you want to talk about. Yeah, more and more, you will be communicate with any nation, any speaker. Currently, we can say, to me, I have a chance to speak with most of the nationality. Just in the we can say in the international conference committee that we have conducted so far for 2 times, and now we consider about the 3rd time. There are more than 10 countries committees. We can say like the committee just come from more than 10 countries in here. We have Canada, and USA, Finland, France, Singapore, Japan, Philippines, okay, even from Thailand here, right? So those things, whenever you just start improve your listening skill, you can communicate. And some action, we really have to listen. especially about friends, about maybe Bangladesh and so on. Maybe it's just really hard to listen, but it's fine. Whenever you get familiar with some of those difficult English speaking or action there, you will learn more and more. You will familiar with them. Italian normally with s at the end. Every word with s in here. Okay, sometimes she called me Somara. Somara. Okay, everything with s there. Okay, we just learn. Okay, s. But the problem with Cambodian English speaker, like even me, some part I get absent with the ending sound as well. Yeah, foreigner cannot understand it because we absent with the sound, with the ending sound. Like one, I want, or one, number one or want. So we absent with the sound t or one and so on. Okay, so those things that we normally absent those things. That's why most of the foreigner, they may not understand it, whether you say about number one or you want something. This is the thing. So when we start learning about those things, we start to improve by checking and focusing on the ending sound, the ending letter sound there. You got what I mean? Okay, but it's fine. Don't be upset with those things. Since it is not our native language speaking, native language in here. Foreigner themselves, yet native speaker themselves, they still make the mistake. Why not us in here? So no worry. If they cannot understand about that word, try to explain them enough. So yeah, but make sure stick with English. Yeah. That's why whenever you speak Khmer, I try to speak in English because I want to make everyone attention to English. Try to practice here. Yeah, the more you stick your mouth with English, yeah, it will be fine. Not make my bad, but since the purpose, we can say like all of the learner come to English class because they want to know about English. Why not guiding them? Let them practice all the formal skill in here. Yeah, just something. The purpose about it's not about knowing about it, but about how to use it or how to apply it, how to communicate it. Do you got what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you cannot say, oh, I'm good at speaking, but I'm not good at writing. But for a professional job, you need to be good at all. At least we can say more like the same there. We can say communicate. You can write script for posting and on Facebook on something. To me, sometimes I do like multitask. Okay. Communicate with partner. Yeah, even in YouTube, YouTube, I'm also the one who manage for those things for my center, as well as the Facebook page. I'm the one who just writing thing to post there. But sometimes whenever I'm in hurry, I just post only English. When I have time, I just try to write in Khmer and then translate to English and so on. It just depends on those things that we need to do it. But yes, sometimes posting in English is just much faster than Khmer. Since Khmer need to prepare something. That's why sometimes they complain as well, like why posting only English, not Khmer. Okay. Yeah, we need to write or prepare the proper word to use it. Okay. But English, you or only him or he, and so on is just enough. Okay. But it's fine. We can say like sometimes we also try to write in Khmer just to support somehow. But it just depends on the time. Sometimes I just have 2 or 3 different meetings at a time. Sometimes I just screenshot, take photo, and then post it immediately. So sometimes just write down here. Okay, so that's it about this thing. Any other thing to share, to speak, to discuss here? Just no.
We know we can move. Yeah, we can move to next.
Okay, I can move one more before you break. Yeah, maybe some of you did not have breakfast or coffee yet.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
vulnerable, breakfast yet? Vulnerable? All vulnerable
Vulnerable.
here?
ពេលនៅរបស់សឹកស្អាយឯងលោកគ្រូ
Finish lecturer finish.
Oh, done. You done a great job.
ពេលនៅរបស់សឹកស្អាយមួយឯងលោកគ្រូអើយ
Oh, who?
ពីគុណអើយប្រាថ្នាលោកគ្រូ
Oh, okay, okay.
សឹកស្អាយ
Good. Live from the manhood to the world.
អេព្រះអង្គដុំចិត្តហ្នឹងឯងដូចសង់យូរឆ្នាំហើយ
ទៅរកបទពិសោធន៍ lecturer ទៅរកបទពិសោធន៍
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
គុណគិតថាអត្រាចំនួនស្ត្រីខ្មែរវាច្រើនលើសលប់អញ្ចឹងបើសិនជាមនុស្សប្រុសទៅជាលោកច្រើនពេកទៅអត្រានៃការកើនឡើងស្ត្រីមានប្តីច្រើនហើយអញ្ចឹងចង់ទៅសឹកខ្លះ
អើយបងឯងកុំចេះថាចង់មើលទៅលោកសឹកទៅអស់ហើយអញ្ចឹង
Okay, so yeah, it's fine. Somehow we can say. Okay, so just come back to our lesson, and after this we will break. After this slide, break about 15 minutes for toilet break or coffee break by yourself at home or at pagoda.
At hospital lecturer now.
At hospital, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. You are working there or you are go for treatment? Chappy?
My brother treatment lecturer.
Okay, okay. What happened to him?
គាត់ជឿហប់ខែហើយក្រនទ្រាពិបាកទៅពេកណាអត់ជាសោះតែមានតែពេករុស្ស៊ីឥឡូវថ្ងៃនេះមកថាតកែវវិញហូតហ្នឹងចុះហូតឡើងបាទអូនផង
Okay.
เราពងនៅលើខ្ញុំនៅក្រោមជៀនប្រើអីប្រើទៅតា
Okay. Wish him all the best and speedy recovery from that. Okay, so come back to task-based language teaching. Have you ever applied task-based in your classroom? TBLT, right? Some part. Anybody used to apply it? Okay, you can see it from here. Like SLA come from what? Yeah.
Second language acquisition.
Yeah, second language acquisition. What is the difference between second language acquisition and second language learning? Yeah, they are the same or they are different?
Second language learning can take place anywhere, especially the environment where the students communicate with each other, can be with the neighbors or with other people who know the second language. Whereas second language acquisition take place mostly at a well-constructed building like a school or somewhere else. Normally, it's between students and the teachers at a school campus.
Okay. That's it. Hamada, do you agree with Mr. Chandet or something else? Anything else? Hello. Have you experienced with SLA? Okay. Is it something the same to Mr. Chandet mentioned earlier or something different? Hello, quiet here. Let me stop sharing for a while. See your face. Do you agree with Mr. Chandet talk about the difference between second language acquisition and second language learning here? Okay, so SLA can mean what? Second language. Acquisition, right? I think one of the subject also talking about second language acquisition here, right? It might be taught by Mr. Philip, is it? Yes. For the fifth cohort, but for sixth cohort, I'm not sure. Whether you have met him or not yet about this one. Oh, okay. Okay, are there some agreed, some quiet? Quiet mean agree and disagree, right?
Agree. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, lecturer. I would like to share something more. Actually, at first I just got confused. Yeah, I just got confused with acquisition and learning. I just want to exchange the definition. Acquisition is a process of acquiring we can say learners can learn, we can say without knowing, can learn from the society or people around them. Whereas learning takes place at a formal, we can say a formal or well-constructed building. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Do you agree with him now? He changed, switching the definition, right?
Yes, lecturer, yes.
Yes. How about other? Mr. Chandet, okay, but other? I think if you have listened to the minister, okay, His Excellency Professor Hang Chunaron last time, the teacher have a lecture series, something about the language learning as well, but he translated the slide in Khmer as well as provide a presentation in Khmer as well. But he talked about second language acquisition here, and he also raised up the model of second language acquisition by Grayson. Yeah, that he just come up with the 5 hypotheses there about language learning there. A lot of things. And I think those things he also translated from some definition or some theory about that part as well. Let me find a slide and send you there. The other promises in here. Yeah, it's fine. Since, to me, we can say like, even though I'm busy, but whenever we just have some speech or some presentation by minister or prime minister, I may keep the earphone and try to listen to those things. You know why? I'm not a politician, but I should try to catch up what are going on with our country, with our education in here. So most of the speech by minister, lecture series by minister, I just try to listen there, even though busy, but just keep the earphone and try to listen. all right? Because I want you to know about the trends or new trend that might be switching our education system there, or the thing might be changed within our country. So without information, we may not reach somewhere else. So yeah, about professional development, about capacity building, it might be based on how much you know about the thing will come. The thing will change, we can say. If the new trend come and you are not ready for that, you will be left behind.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Like COVID-19, no one expected COVID-19 come. That's why we can say when we switch from learning from a physical classroom to online learning, most of the teachers are struggle, and a big number of teachers just quit their job. Or we can say like they get nothing from their income because the school closed. Yeah, no class to teach except the we can say like only the state school teacher that they still have their salary, still maintain their salary, but they may lose the extra income from going and teach at the private sector.
Private
there.
school. Yep.
Yeah. So those things because they are not ready for that. Yeah, something there. The same thing you can say. Experience from COVID-19. What else that you can see? The development or the changing of the trend in education system in Cambodia. Currently, they keep talking about smart classroom. They keep talking about STEM education. They keep talking about what? About school-based management. Yeah, about for the school principal need to learn about those things, right? So what else can we manage? Can we do for that? Those things that you need to ask yourself. Okay? So should not follow, but you can see and expect what are the skills that you need to build in here. All right, so something there. Okay, so come back to second language acquisition and second language learning. Some part people, they do not want to distinguish, they do not want to differentiate, but the process we need to know it as well. Yeah, like what they're just switching, which is the correct one. We can say like language second language acquisition when we learn without knowing. We can say like unspontaneously. Yeah, we just keep learning, like the kids just start speaking the language. They do not understand what is it about, but whenever they heard, they just repeat, they just drill, they just follow, and then they can use those things. That's one that we call like second language acquisition. Second language learning, it just have a clear framework or clear procedure for learning at the specific building. Yeah, but right now we can say it might be changed. Not about specific building, it might be everywhere in the school. Yeah, make sure it just have plan, have a structure regarding to the curriculum, lesson to be taught. It's just enough. Because right now, only a laptop like Mr. Chowpi now at hospital, you also can learn. Yes, so everywhere in the school now we can say under the tree, at hometown, countryside, it's just your school there. Yeah, like a home-based schooling, we can say like home-based schooling now. Yeah, so those things we can say. Yeah, but we can say some, they do not try to distinguish both things. We can say like still focus on yeah, okay, factory based schooling, right? Thank you, Mr. Dina. Okay, yeah, something there we can say everywhere we can learn, and the ability that really great from that part, because secondly, we can attend more than one meeting at the same time. To me, sometimes 3 meetings at the same time, we still manage to do that. But if you ask, okay, how effective? It's not really effective, but rather than for being absent, we can keep track with the information. To me, whenever I have the meeting, I really miss for that, since I want to get the information. Okay, so let's just go furthermore this part before we have about 15-minute break. Yeah, so we can say about SLA here, like second language acquisition, show that successful language learning involve learner in negotiating our meaning. Yeah, so we can say like whenever you assign tasks for the student to do in group, for example, like you just design them to develop a poster about global warming, or about what, or about hitting on Earth. Yeah, you can design them a task by giving them instruction or give them the topic, for example, and then we can say like the student, they are keep discussing how to do the task, and then what, along the way they need to negotiate, but make sure when you assign the task, make sure they are on track out speaking in English. So they complete the task, they have a chance to communicate in English, in the language, in the target language in here. And then what? They may say something right, or they may say something wrong as well. Along the way, they can learn something about the creativity for the task, as well as the way of communication, the way that they can have and correct each other about the language learning in here. So this thing we can say, they are not going to wait to get the full spoonful feeding from the teacher, but they are going to try to initiate something from their peer, from their group member, and they can start learning things. All right. So more and more they keep learning language without knowing what it is about, but they can use it, they can speak it. Okay, even though it may be some part that they may not understand about what it is exactly for the first time, but more and more it can be built up and they can start to rely, okay, that's what it's just something. Yeah. Even though we can say like the people that is not good at grammar at all, but when they just heard the natural sound of English, they may learn that, oh, you may speak something wrong with the grammatical structure, since the sound seems strange to me, for example, right? So the one that they have a chance to get involved in communication, they may come up with some natural sound in their ears. Whenever they heard something that you speak it correctly or ill grammatical structure or form, they may start to rely, oh, that's not correct, something here. Okay, the second one we can say like learner learns through tasks that facilitate practice of both our language form and communicative function. Yeah, they can communicate, they can also learn the language form there. Yeah, like we can say they can correct each other. Yeah, among 5 students, maybe 1 or 2 of them may be good at or maybe familiar with the language form, and whenever the member speaking something wrong, they can be, oh, okay, it's not like that, it should be like this, like that, for example. They start changing and then they sing much better there. That's it for this part. Any question before we move to learning learner training here?
Learning through tasks for this point, I think they can learn much about the communicative function.
Yeah, we can say like first of all, like you have the block for them to build a house or build any building, as a hospital or the school, for example. So they need to communicate which part that they better do to make it strong, to make it beautiful. Yeah, at least they can communicate about the color, for example, the color of the block. Oh, okay, to make it beautiful, should use the red color block and so on, for example, right? The red blocks to build it. So Dosing, even for kids, for adult, they can communicate through dosing. They will learn more, and as they should go to the society, they are brave enough. You can say like they brave enough to speak it out. But if you just follow the traditional teaching method, like the teacher just teach, okay, present simple, subject plus verb one, verb two, verb one plus object, and so on. You make a sentence like this, like that. It really spend them more time. You can say, even though they are master with grammatical or language form here, but communication, it might be hard for them there. Yeah? But currently they just have like learning from playing, learning from activity, or learning from task based and so on, and here the thing that really effective for them. All right.
Yeah, and the class so interesting for the learner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interactive classroom here, we can say, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, how about any question? Anything to add up is fine. Not main question, but maybe your own experience about this thing is fine. It might be similar. We can say like, remember this one, you should not follow everything in a teaching method. Some part you can adjust it. You can make change it to fit with your student ability and the context of learning there. That means if they give you like task based, you need to follow, go through 10 procedure, for example. Not mean so, right? Yeah. Okay. Among 10, you can choose only 5. It's fine as well. Make sure it just fit your student level, your student ability, and yeah, the learning context. Yeah, we can say like in rural area, the student, they just keep listen to the teacher, for example. But when you ask them to do the task, they may say, oh, strange. Or they may say, because of the teacher are lazy to teach, let them play, let them do something here. It might be something that they think there. But it's fine. You can say, just try to solve task-based language teaching in your class. From time to time, you will see the progress. Build it, we can say, because of the habit, because of the norm or culture of the classroom like that, you need to change it by using something there. But don't try to change about 180 degree there, but you try to adjust it. We can say to change, I just have only 3 words to say. So to change, we can say change in something, in leadership, in teaching. You better not change immediately, but just change, follow the 3 process. The first one, we can say like, you need to adapt. Yeah, you need to accept it is like that. Yeah, the culture of teaching, they don't like to work in group or something, because in most of the rural area, they familiar with what? Spoonful feeding. Teacher write down the question, and later on teacher write down the answer for them, for example. So you need to accept that one. And then the second word, just justify. Justify by follow that process, but adjust it by changing from what they actually depend on the teacher, but just change it to them for the student to have time to think, have time to give some answer, yeah, with some support from the teacher themselves. Or later on, you can try to get involved them by discussing with their partner, okay, about this, about that, and later on, okay, more and more they will familiar with those things. Start changing bit by bit without knowing the people to know about the big change there. Since the big change, the people cannot adapt or adjust to those things immediately. So finally, change will be automatically. So you must be the one who will initiate change. Yeah, some part of the system cannot manage for you. System cannot pave the way for you all the time in here. You are the one who just need to initiate and create the possibility for change. All right. So yeah, you need to prepare the pathway for yourself somehow. We normally say, oh, I don't want to work there. The school, no system, no any good environment, no, it's not good at, no any existing administrative tasks and document there. Yeah, why don't we ask, okay, how can we have those schools? How can we create those things? While it's absent, we just create. We are the one who just pave the way. We are just the one who just take initiative to make it happen there. Yeah, the opportunity, we can say like, whenever nothing there, you are the one who just create. You can create and support. Yeah, don't expect, because sometimes they need you because they hope that you will go and solve the problem. Not just go and expect the problem can be solved for you, and then you can do it well. It's not something there, right? Okay, so this is just about something here. And if you don't have a question, we can have about 15-minute break for toilet, for coffee, or whatever, or even brunch. It's fine. So now, not breakfast, not lunch, but maybe brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
teacher.
Yeah. Okay.
Bây giờ là màu cầm răng lư mọt mà. Màu cầm răng lư mọt mà cũng hàm ngay mình lư.
Okay. So I see you again. I see you at 10:15, right? Not 10:50,
Yeah,
10:15.
teacher.
Right? Yeah, 10:15. See you. Yeah, see you. See you. Okay, so to go back to the slide. Okay, regarding to task-based language teaching, any question, any thing you want to add up? Yes, no, okay. Maybe no, right? So let's just go to the learning training. Yeah, as you can see here, what do you understand about learning training here? The first one, you can say like connective style and learning strategy that learner use when carrying out different classroom learning tasks. The research may involve observing learners, asking them to introspect about their learning strategy, or probing learner into other ways. Yeah. So what is about the part? What do you understand about this one through your reading? Can you share? Any idea about this one, please? Hello, it's invited here. Yeah. Before break, I suppose that you may hungry, you may feel not good because no cup of coffee, but after break it seems like okay, Mr. Panat, anything to share with this one?
No, sir.
No,
Yeah.
no idea, no answer.
I'm not sure about myself. Yeah.
Okay, you don't know. You don't know who you are now, right? Thank you.
Teacher, for me,
Mr.
teacher,
Yeah,
hello.
come on again.
Yeah, for me, I just find out the homework that you let us do last week about the method and approach.
Yeah, come on.
So during the break, I trying to find out this word. That's why I did not know about this learning and training. Learning, training.
Okay. So you can find or cannot find, which is that?
I can find the approach and the difference between approach and method. Teacher.
I method, okay.
Yeah, and I can see one more thing about technique.
About technique.
So
Okay.
the three aspects here is related to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So can you talk briefly about this one? Come on.
Teacher, let me try, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure that you will get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay, sure.
the first one is we talk about the approach, and after that method, and then technique. So the first is approach. The approach is the different theories about the nature of language and how language are learned. We call approach. And then the imply different way of teaching language, we call the method. So imply, it means that to communicate an idea or feeling without saying it directly. Implies different way of teaching language, we call method. And after that, the different method make use of different kind of classroom activity, we call the technique. So the three aspects here, it relates to each other. So that's all for my findings.
Okay, good. Thank you. Yeah, if you have the document, just drop into the group. Everyone can read and can see more. Okay, or you even surfing or finding more. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, teacher, I will take the photo of that. Yeah, teacher.
Yeah, just good finding. Yeah, good, really good. Yeah. The scope, we can say, yeah, start from approach, method, and technique. Yeah, and some book they also talk about channel as well. So yeah, dosing, and then what are the channel you want to practice or apply dosing into that part. Yeah. Okay, good. Just sharing there. Okay, and we just go back to learning training. How much do you understand about this one? I'm not sure whether you ever heard about connective style. What is connective style here? What does it mean, connective style?
Let me try, teacher.
Yeah, come on, please.
It means the way of using your mental ability, teacher.
Yeah.
In learning the language.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How about other? Do you agree with Mr. Wichita? Yes, no, okay. Okay, Mr. Paul here. Paul here. See Paul, right? Sorry. Anything to share? Quiet here. Okay, how about Venerable Sun Ting? Okay, we still not hear from you so far about 3 week time now. Anything to share here, Venerable?
Hello, lecturer and everyone.
Yeah.
I don't have any idea to join because now is lesson about the method and approach of teaching, but I'm not have any experience with teaching anybody, so I don't have any experience to join and to rest to show up. So sorry for that.
Okay, it's fine, Venerable. Okay, it's
fine.
fine.
Most of the students study this major now. They have own class and have their own experience with teaching their own. But for me, I am not, so I don't have any experience and any something to show. So I want to say sorry for that. So I'm not understand at all about that.
Okay, it's fine, Venerable. Okay, maybe you can explore more, right? Like what we discussed so far at the beginning of the session this morning. Yeah, we can say, yeah, to get 70% of learning development, you need to try something new, right? Something new and challenge it as well. Maybe you can run your own class at Pagoda, Venerable, to teach the small monk.
Yeah, maybe I try.
Yeah, better try. You can say like, yeah, something to experience with teaching and to provide some knowledge to the little monk as well, maybe. To me, the same way, we can say I start teaching in grade 9, as I remember, maybe sometime in grade 8, start teaching English, and yeah, to the small kids at the village, and some of the students that study at grade 7 or grade 8 at the time, yeah, get a small amount of money at the time, but what we can get to get some benefit of learning as well as experience as a teacher. You're really happy at the time that we can say when we just have more or less the same age student that call me like teacher. Okay, really good feeling at the time. Yeah. And even at workplace, sometimes I just teach, bring the textbook to teach the college or worker, okay, who just want to learn English, just teach for free. Sometimes just free for them. Since if they want to know, just start teaching. Okay, if you want to learn, it's fine. I can teach them with some basic alphabet, about phonetic symbol, or how to read, how to learn the language there. It's just a thing that we can start sometime. Thank you. It's not too late in here. Okay, so other anything to share with this one? Okay, so I'm going to go through this and finish it, and then we can discuss later. If you have something to contribute, it's fine. It's no, it's also fine. But the rest of the chapter, okay, we are going to start to work together there. So connective style, like what which I mentioned earlier, like the style or the way of thinking. Somehow a connective style, they can call it like a thinking style. Yeah, as an individual learner, for the process of learning, mean like your reaction or response to different subject or different courses in language learning and teaching. Or not only the language teaching and learning, for example, like when you study about core English, what do you feel? When you move to a literature study, what do you think about this thing? So this is about the style of reaction or thinking style of learner from one subject to the other one. All right. So learning training is just like you just try to train your student how to learn. All right. So we can say like they may not know how to do anything about group work, pair work, or debate, or and so on, or any technique that you bring to the class. But you are the teacher, you need to train them, to show them. I don't want you just to sit still, but I just want you to share, discuss, ask and answer the question with your partner, for example. Train them, show them, motivate them to join, and let them learn with the new environment there. Yeah. So this part we can say, you see, like different classroom learning tasks in here. They may come up with different thinking style, different learning strategy. Yeah, sometimes we can guide them how to learn as well. Some part we fail because we do not know how to learn. And when we talk about study skill, most of the students in Cambodia, they keep laughing. Oh, why I do need to learn how to learn? Since I know how to read the book, I know how to do homework after school. Why I need to learn how to learn again? But actually, a study skill or learning how to learn here is really important for them. The habit from the parent is fine. In the past, they keep memorizing, keep learning by try to remember things. Those things that's why they sometimes it's really hard. Currently, they just prefer not try to remember, but understanding about the concept and then start doing it. Okay, you can explain it different way to the key term. So this part we can say really important as well, that the teacher need to observe. We can say you can improve this part by observing learner. Okay, asking them about introspection, about their learning strategy. Yeah, ask them to identify what are the best learning strategy for them. Do you know about type of learner? How many type of learner are there here? How many type of learner are there? How many type of learner are there? Any answer, please? Yeah. Let me stop sharing. So how many style of learner are there? Not only in language, but in other subject as well. Yeah. Yes, no, okay.
There are four lecturer.
Yeah. So what are they, Mr.
Visual learning, visual learning style, those learner style, they take quickly the items that the lecturer provide will by seeing the picture or the postcard. And also the auditory learning style, the student, they will learn best when they listening to the audio or the song. And kinesthetic learning style, by doing something like gesture. And the last one, we can say reading or learning style. That's it, lecturer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ping Peng. Okay, that's it about 4 learning style. Anybody else? There are 5 or 6 learning style here. Different from Mr. Ping Peng here. Different or the same? Are you ever test your learning style? If you don't know your student learning style, you may learn about your learning style. So which learning style are you? Are you best in? Have you ever test yourself for that? Yes. Yes or no? Have you ever heard about WARC? WARC, W-A-R-K. Have you ever heard about WARC there? Yes, no?
No. Yeah, no.
No? Okay. So it's no means you have never test yourself there. So let us try and test it. Here WARC, we can say WARC here refer to a learning style. We can say they talk about, yeah, like what Mr. Pingpo mentioned earlier. So learning style just have 4 that follow WARC. Like we can refer to virtual learner. Yeah. A, it can be oral or auditory learner. Yeah. Visual, like learning by seeing. Oral or auditory learner, just learning by hearing. Or letter I here just refer to read and write. Yeah, learn how to read and write. They can learn best until they have a chance to read and they have a chance to write. So some people, they keep take note all the time. Then they can learn well in here. And K, just like kinesthetic, like learning by doing here. They can learn best by doing things. I'm going to drop the link into the group and you can test it about what kind of learner you are. As you said, you can submit, right? This is about e-learning questionnaire about that part. And the answer here, we can select one answer. You can choose more than one. You can choose more than one. If you think, oh, I learn best with diagram, I learn with written instruction, or even 3, you can tick all again, and then they will calculate the score for you there, right? You can try about that part. Let me drop into the group or even through Zoom chat here, and then you can try it. And you can use it to identify your student learning style as well. Yeah, by doing that part. Have you ever tested that? Have you ever done that questionnaire before? Yes, no, okay. Yeah, need to know about their thinking style, their learning strategy, as well as their learning style as well. We can say when you know the learning style, you can apply the teaching method and material design really effective there, right? Okay, I will stop sharing this, and if you have question, you can we can discuss about this one. Any question? Hello. Are you here, everyone?
Yeah, teacher, yeah.
Yeah, no, teacher.
Okay. Any question?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay. So go back and testing about finding your learning style. Yeah. And then after that, you can apply it for your student as well. And just try to say, oh, I think you are a visual learner, you are oral or authentic learner. Yeah. Okay. So something there to be sure with that, again, you need to use the questionnaire and can test it. Okay, let's just come back to our slide and I will keep going. If not many questions, maybe I'm going to go a bit fast. If you have some questions, just stop me, we can talk. So we can say like, yeah, learning training, you need to train the learner to identify about their connective style or thinking style. Teacher themselves, they also need to know about the student connective style and learning style as well. And besides knowing and also training them how to learn or how to study, like study skill in here. And you can observing learner asking them to prospect identify their learning strategy. Yeah, or you can let them do that questionnaire by what to identify their learning style as well. Yeah, or probing learner in other way. Probing means keep asking them. We can say asking them one question, asking a follow-up question to understanding them further. Yeah. For example, you may ask them, okay, what do you do normally when you have homework and assignment to do? Oh, somebody may answer, oh, I'm just surfing or reading book. You may check here, okay, what are the best way that you're doing with that reading book there? You can say, you may check the title, you may scanning, or you may look at the picture, for example, right? So keep asking them other way, make sure that you can understand them further. So probing, just try to checking to the part without leading them to the answer. Just try to elicit for the practical answer to the term that you want to know about them, right? So that part. So that is about learning training. So training the learner, training your student how to learn, we can say. Before you can train them, you need to identify the learning style, learning strategy, connective strategy here, or connective mean like, sometimes they can call it like thinking style, right? Thinking style. What are their thinking? What are their reaction after this one? So in this part, we can say applying the result of empirical or experimental research. Yeah. After you have conduct empirical or experimental research, you need to apply. We can say teacher training module could affect teaching behavior, and the behavior of behavior affects student participation pattern, language acquisition. We can say more of the same, the teacher that learned from the training module, it could affect on the teacher behavior. There's some people that keep learning and discussing today, somehow will change your behavior as a teacher. Yeah, you may say, oh, I'm a teacher, I may know how to conduct research. I may know how to apply about task-based language teaching and learning, for example. So you may get some idea here and you will apply into your classroom, for example. Yeah. And that behavior, we can say, will affect the student participant pattern. Yeah, we can say like, you apply something new, the student language acquisition will be changed as well. We can say the process of learning really affect those things. What else? A teacher's question pattern display question or a referential question. Yeah, mean direct question or comprehensive question that we can say like can be referred to something else. To find out the beyond, beyond meaning there, you can say. Yeah. So question there are direct answer or indirect meaning of that part, or indirect answer. It can be referred to something else there. All right. So the student need to use their critical thinking to think, to find out the beyond meaning of the actual or authentic question there. Teacher waiting time, longer waiting time. So waiting time here what? Asking question should not give answer immediately. Give them time, give the student time to think. Keep thinking before they can respond. You're like to me, sometimes I do not have you waiting time in here. Yeah. Somehow we can say, if you do not answer too long, I may go and say something about this one. So my waiting time is not too long for you in here. It's not a good teaching one. You can say, since sometimes most of you here, you do not have enough time to think. Just listen to me. Follow me. All right? That's it. It's just something there. So quality time, quality waiting time is just good for the student connective style or thinking style there. Let's just move. Starting the practice of effective teacher. Yeah. So what are the practice of effective teacher should do? Yeah, you can become a teacher, a good teacher, but how to become the effective teacher or great teacher there? So the first one we can say like identifying effective teacher. We can see all of these components like the first one, organizing instruction. Yeah, whether what you have planned, what you give instruction, is it clear enough or not? Yeah, is it good for the student to follow, to do the task or not in here? Structuring teaching activity, whether activity is generally attractive, funny. Yeah, that the students sit and learn without boring, yeah, or annoying, for example, right? Is it something there? Enhancing student performance on task. Yeah, try to encourage, try to involve the student in the task to improve their performance. Or if the student sit quietly, did not participate, the teacher did not care, something there. So yeah, all these three components really important for effective teacher should do, right? Yeah, should do that. Not should do, must do, we can say. Studying their teaching practice. We can say, yeah, sometimes we can say, can be observe their classroom, yeah, see their lesson preparation, and then go and observe, keep talking, discussing, yeah, like interview, observe teaching practice, interview the student, yeah, check with the student, how effective, how they are feeling on their teacher performance, for example. Yeah, those things really something that we can study, we can adapt, or we can adjust it based on that part. That's why we can say a classroom observation not for only the school principal. Sometimes teacher, mean the college or peer, better go and observe the classroom to learn something, something better, something new, and to identify some part to be improved as well. We can say, as they're observing the classroom, the peers should sit together and talk and discuss about the strong point, about the point to be improved. Okay, the observer can express, oh, okay, I have learned something new from you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I may elaborate more from you. How can we do that, prepare for that, and so on. This is the best way that the teacher can keep learning and improving their teaching practice. Yeah, they are thinking that yes. So something that they can sit together there will be the way that they can elaborate, they can learn, they can explore things. We can say observation really effective. We can say like before one teacher can apply one teaching techniques, they spend longer time to read, to prepare, yet to understand. We can say like some part a bit hard to understand as well. But when they just prepare thing there, and you can go and observe them, you just spend only half an hour or even 1 hour to observe. You can see some effectiveness or ineffectiveness of that teaching method, and then you can adapt or adopt it to apply into your classroom. So save you some time while the teacher who read or start doing this one, they may spend a week time to understand and prepare the thing, but you just go and observe. Maybe you just spend only 1 or 2 hours. You can adapt those teaching approach or teaching method or technique, we can say, to apply into your own classroom in here. Yeah. To me, I motivate to all teachers to do this one. Peer observation, effective. You also can see in your textbook on page number 21. In your textbook, the soft copy there, you can see it about the 12 characteristics of effective teaching here. Let's go and see this one briefly. Any questions so far before we go? Or any, not question, but contribution is fine. Yeah? Just know, okay? Okay. Quiet mean no question, no contribution. Can you go through this one and tell me where you don't understand? I'm not going to explain here, but you can see the 12 characteristics here. Yeah, I give you about 3 minutes to go through it. Any questions, just let me know, right? Okay. Any question? Anything really doubt you there? Yeah, we can say like effective teaching, you must follow the 12 component. Yeah, it's not all, at least you get about, yes, 9 or 10 of them. Yeah. The instruction is guided by a pre-planned curriculum. Have you ever seen the curriculum in the public school? Or nothing? Yeah. Have you ever seen the curriculum, the national curriculum? Yes or no? Hello, I am alone or with you all?
Hello, teacher. Yeah, here.
With you, teacher.
Yeah, you are here, right? It seems like I'm talking alone.
You are not alone.
Yeah. Yeah, we can say, yes, somehow in here we can say, oh, I'm a teacher. No need to bother or worried about curriculum. Only the principal and a school management team that they may bother and concerned with the curriculum. But actually we can say, you can prepare your lesson voucher based on the provided curriculum. You may know about what are the big picture of the curriculum that they want you to bring the student there. It's not so your lesson, we can say like curriculum about A, but your lesson will be lead the student to B or C. That is the unexpected objective of that part, really waste time there. Second one, there are high expectation for student learning. Yes, such high expectation. When you have a high expectation, you will prepare to get there. We can say like, if you cannot shooting the star, if you cannot read the star, at least you can read the moon. All right? Yes, somewhere there, such high expectation and prepare things to reach there. Students are carefully oriented to lesson. Yeah, guide them, teach them, not mean just go to class. Okay, read for the student, write a question on the board for the student, write the answer for them, and after this, the teacher should go out to drink coffee and do something else. Yeah. Yeah, and breaking like like last time, just one people just comment in the maybe the forum of the ministry that they ask what should the ministry do, our government do if a teacher who just teach carelessly, yeah, just teach for teaching, not teach for the learning outcome of the student, yeah, like pay no attention to the lesson, go and let the student copy the lesson from the textbook, and after that just let the student break. In the schedule just put only 15 minutes, but reality just break half an hour or even hours. Okay, that so what should the ministry do with that part? I can say, yeah, something we can say like do it carefully. We can say don't just exchange your teaching hour with the payment or the way that you got it. No matter how you are teaching in private school or private sector or public sector, should not sell your credit with that amount of money. You can say the value and the credit of a teacher is just much more expensive than that one. Probably like to be calculated. Yeah. Yeah. If we can say like, to me, I can say like some institution that I start teaching, they pay me just really cheap one. We can say, just one session just about $3 or $4. We still get that one, even $5. But to me, I can say, whenever I agree to sign the contract to accept the classroom, I will take my full responsibility to teach, not just depend on that amount of money. Since my credit, my fame is not based on that amount of money. If I do it carelessly based on that, I mean, I say, oh, okay, $3 for 1 hour and a half, it's really cheap. So I just go and teach, just talk about this, about that, and then, okay, finish for today. Just only 1 hour, just enough for that. Okay, break time, it should be extended too long. So if I do so, mean I just sell my credit, just only $3 or $4 or even $5 there. So the benefit I get there, we can say like, I get there for opportunity to build up my ability, competency, yeah, as well to build the credit. So while other lecturer, they kept doing carelessly, but I did it seriously and curiously, and then I gained some credit from that thing. I can upgrade it. I can go to other university that they can pay me more than this one. Yeah, and keep calling sometime, and currently I reject to accept the class as well. Yes, in no time. Only weekend in here. So those things that need to be careful. So work hard, seriously and curiously, and then you will be paid out after that one. Yeah, they are university, they will see you and they will call you there. Okay, come to teach in my university, just submit your CV. Have a few talk and then you can start teaching. Yeah, something there. Number 4, instruction is clear and focused. Give clear instruction and make sure the student can understand your instruction before let them move, rather than just let them move while you do not understand what you want them to do. And then the class will become really noisy. With the noise pollution there, your classroom will become worse. The student cannot learn well. You need to walk around and explain them group by group, pair by pair. Oh, okay, really spend longer time. So whenever you give instruction, better announce, everyone close your mouth, right? Close your mouth. Okay, and open your ears, listen carefully. And after you instruct them, yeah, we can say what? Elicit or even demonstrate, or ask the student to repeat what you want them to do and for how long that you want them to do with that activity. Just give them carefully and focus instruction there. Yeah, and as I move, you can say your classroom will really effective manage even those in group work or pair work, but it's still under your control. But if you do not carefully instruct them, yeah, really messy there, I strongly believe. Number 5, learning progress is monitored closely. Yeah, let them work in group, work in pair. You still in there to monitor them. Not being let them in group, but the teacher just go and sit at the cafe, drink a coffee, and after that you come back. Oh, okay, it's time to go home. No. Yes, they are working, you also working. They are discussing, sometimes you also need to move around and check and monitor them about what they have done so far. What are the struggling? What are the problems that they face while discussing? Help them on time, right? Number 6, when the student do not understand, they are in touch. Yeah, this is the thing that you can move around and identify. You can move around even though they don't ask you. The teacher may see the blank face. Yes, sometimes they can sit still. They discuss, they share nothing with the group. Yeah, this is the blank face that you can identify there. Explain them. You don't have time, right? Class time is used for learning. Yeah, used for learning some part. Yeah, not something that just writing down the question, let them copy or even read from the textbook. Yeah, it's just useless sometimes. But to get there, you need to have the scaffolding to check the habit, to find out their learning style, and then to fit with that part. Number 8, there are smooth and efficient class routine. You better set your own classroom rule. Yeah, classroom routine. What should they do, right? Okay, I strongly believe most of the teacher may have set there in private sector, but in the public sector, maybe depend on the teacher. Yeah. Okay, so what should they do with that part? In language classroom, we can say if you set the routine of speaking English, Maybe you can ask them to use the classroom language. Simple thing. Before they go out, they may ask permission. Oh, teacher, sorry, may I go out for a toilet, please? Okay, or something that they can communicate. So set the classroom or classroom routine or classroom rule with that part to manage to scale your student effectiveness or learning there. Okay, we will finish soon. Okay, whenever be ready for lunch, but just a few points to go. Okay, number 9, instructional group form in the classroom fit the instructional needs. Yeah, we can say, yeah, prepare the needs of the group, prepare the need of the lesson that you prepare, have prepared or planned so far, need to be fit to each other. For example, like if the classroom really big and you want to let the student to work in group, for example, like a group of 20 people, it really useless there. Since most of the people really active, while one people speak and the other 19 people will be passive in here. So the small group you make, the effective involvement really effective there. Yeah, it's a group of 5, maybe only 4 people that will be passive. Yeah, one speak, the other 4 will listen, right? So need to be careful design and see there how effective. Not mean just okay, I just applied the technique to be more variety of technique, but at the result, the student learn nothing from those things. Okay, game, activity, and so on. But at the end, they did not know. Okay, they have fun so far, but they may not learn something from those things. Need to be careful as well. Variety of technique, but make sure a technique will bring and guide the student to learn something there. Standard for classroom behavior are high. Yeah, we can say, as a teacher, you are not going to teach the student only the lesson, but it should be something about their attitude and behavior in here. Since some part you forgot too much on the lesson, they may be good at in academic performance, but when they go and work, they may have the ill attitude or behavior in here. So they cannot earn more from those things, or even they cannot work with other people in the society. Need to be careful. So that's why we need to include like KSA. KSA come from what in your lesson? So in lesson should be included with KSA. Have you ever heard about KSA? We have K, we have S, we have A. So in your lesson objective should include with KSA. So K come from what? Hello, have you ever include KSA? Or some they call it like KAS. It's fine. Which one first is fine. So first K come from? Hello. Are you with me? Oh, I'm hungry now, maybe, right? Yeah, but as a Paul, any answer to this one? KSA? Have you included KSA in your lesson? The first K come from?
Knowledge.
Knowledge, okay, very good. Knowledge, right? How about S?
Skill.
Skill. A?
And A, ability.
Ability?
Yep.
Okay, ability or something else?
Or can be attitude.
Yeah, it should
So,
be.
so in the lesson plan or in the lesson that we provide to the student, we should include knowledge, skill and ability, or we can say attitude
Yeah,
for them.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Better focus on attitude rather than ability, right? Because in ability it can be included in knowledge and skill, right? But attitude here, yeah, we can say really important. Yeah. When they just go and work in one organization, they are really boastful, really bad attitude, ill attitude, yeah, or behavior illness, we can say, like okay, they never respect anybody, they don't want to work with this and that, they say, oh, they are really poor, I'm the outstanding one, why I should go and work with the poor performance colleague in here, for example, right? So those things really important. Should not educate them without educating them attitude in here. So should not educate them with knowledge and skill, but without attitude. All right, really important there. Okay, I will go two more. The last one. Okay, personal interaction between teacher and student are positive. Yeah, make sure. Yeah, we can say you are control the student by using the polite words, or find out the effective method to control the classroom. For example, like you are at the whiteboard and you notice the student at the back chit-chatting. What should you do? Calling them by name, shouting at them, stop talking, or just ask them to move? Which one is better? Yeah. We can say calling them by name. The classmate will look at them. Oh, what's wrong with Mr. A? Teacher call him. If you call them shouting at them, yeah, the other thing, it will be a shame to them and really reflect to your personality as a teacher as well. Educator, why you need to use something aggressive or cruel way of shouting at the student in here? Calling them to move to the front row, the student also have some assumption. Oh, maybe Mr. A did something wrong. That's why the teacher call him to move to the front, to sit near him, for example. So what should you do to let the student stop talking and we can say not letting them feeling sad or feeling upset regarding to your disruption there. We can say like your instruction to disrupt them from talking, stop them from talking, but still let them feel happy, enjoying in your lesson. If you're shouting at them, he will sit upset the full session in here. You call him by name, he will feel ashamed with the classmate, and he may sit quietly and no talking anything since he feel embarrassed to the classmate. Asking him to move, the same thing. The feeling may be the same. So what should a teacher do to stop the student from chit-chatting without letting them feel upset, without letting their classmate know that, okay, he or she try to stop that student from doing some disruption in the class in here? Yeah, give me the answer in the afternoon, right? Mid, we will talk about this one. So what are the best solutions with that? Okay. So number 12, we can say like incentive and reward for the student are used to promote excellence. Yeah, good. You can award them. But also need to be careful with incentive and reward. Since if you do not use incentive and reward carefully, it will lead to corruption in the future. You know why? Yeah, without score, without reward, they may not work. Okay, everyone read the chapter 4, like Mr. Chaupi promised. Okay, everyone will read chapter 4, right? Okay, if I say, okay, if you read chapter 4, I will give you 10 marks for reading. How about if I do not give you 10 marks? Will you read the lesson? Maybe no. But yeah, we can give them any reason with some explanation, right? Carefully. Because reading those good things is just for themselves, not for the teacher. Why we should reward them for just doing that one? If without reward, how can they do? Yeah, reading book not mean they read and the teacher no. They have read the book for themselves. They learn something for themselves for their future. Okay. Yeah, but it's something that we can say somehow that we need to reward, and at least we can say give some appreciate letter or appreciate word to motivate them. It's fine, but need to explain them carefully. It's not so corruption will happen in the society, in the government. Okay, that's it. And just skip one answer for me in the afternoon. We will discuss how can you manage your classroom effectively without letting the student feel upset, okay, and still get involved in your lesson. Okay, so something the rest we will continue and discuss in the afternoon and move to the new lesson as well. Okay. That's it. It's in time for lunch for some vulnerable. Okay, so have a nice rest. Enjoy your lunch and see you in the afternoon with the rest of the lesson, as well as move to the third lesson about lesson planning. We will discuss more about those things. Okay, so thank you for this morning. See you at 2, right? Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, so
Okay,
enjoy your
teacher,
lunch.
and goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye. Goodbye. See you.